Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki Jai Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat reading. Today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Khanda, chapter 2. Actually, sorry, we are reading from Antya Khanda because Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. So taking sannyas is the end of Madhya Khanda in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So we started the Antya Khanda. So what did we read in the previous chapter? How Mahaprabhu entered into the forests with um, Keshav Bharati Maharaj, his sannyas guru, along with Nityananda Prabhu and a couple of other devotees. And then he informed Nityananda Prabhu that I'm going to go to Shantipur. So call all the devotees from Navadvip. So we saw how Nityananda Prabhu went and he met with Sachimata, and who was very morose. For 12 days she had been fasting, and now she, seeing Nityananda Prabhu, once again she got up, she cooked a meal for him like that. And even the offenders who were at some point offending Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they also felt very bad that Mahaprabhu took sannyas and now they couldn't see him. So all of them also came. Then we saw how people from not just Navadvip but other places also, when they found out that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, now as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Shantipur, they all crossed the Ganga. And how they crossed the Ganga, whatever they could find, they made improvised rafters and they just got on boats, and each boat had thousands and thousands of people, and it would just go a few feet or something, just a short distance, and it would just sink. But still nobody drowned, nobody died. Somehow they managed to swim. Lame men were swimming, blind men were swimming, pregnant ladies were swimming. Somehow everyone came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's uh, Advaita Acharya's residence, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Meanwhile, Nityananda Prabhu also brought all the devotees from Navadvip. So when they arrived there, they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how beautiful he looked, how, like millions of moons. When Mahaprabhu heard, they were doing kirtan, Mahaprabhu came outside hearing the kirtan and he saw all the people. And when he glanced upon them, seeing his beautiful form, they were all in, uh, it's the fulfillment of all their desires. And then Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya took the Nityanand Prabhu inside, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, and then there's Prasadam, right? And after that, again, Mahaprabhu took them to the Ganga to take bath. Yes. And also how they were all they became like small children to get the remnants of Mahaprabhu's Prasadam, like that. And then, uh, yeah, that's where we ended. So let's continue now. Chapter 2. Bhuvaneshwar Purushottamadi Agamana. Return to Bhuvaneshwar, Jagannath Puri and other places. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya. Glory to the Lord who is everyone's life breath. Glory to the Lord who brings fear to the wicked. Glory to the protector of the devotees. Glory to the master of Anantasesh, Lakshmi, Brahma and Shiva. Glory to the Lord who is an ocean of mercy, the friend of the fallen and the best of sannyasis. I'll read those two lines again. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya. Glory to the Lord who is everyone's life breath. Glory to the Lord who brings fear to the wicked. Glory to the protector of the devotees. Glory to the master of Anantasesh, Lakshmi, Brahma and Shiva. Glory to the Lord who is an ocean of mercy, the friend of the fallen and the best of sannyasis. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya who stays with his devotees. O Lord, please be merciful to me. Please stay always in my thoughts. In this way, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed many pastimes in Advaita's home in Shantipur. The Lord enjoyed many confidential conversations with the devotees. In their company, he happily passed the night. When the night ended and the sun rose, the Lord performed his morning duties. Then he sat down, his servants around him in the four directions. The Lord said, I will go to Jagannath Puri. Please do not be unhappy at this. I will see Lord Jagannath, the moon of Neelachala, and then I will return and stay with all of you. Please happily return to your homes and be always engaged in Kirtan. Birth after birth, you are my very life. The devotee said, Lord, who has the power to thwart your desires? Still, this is a difficult time. No one can travel the roads in that country. The two countries are in the midst of a great quarrel. Which two countries? Well, Bengal and Orissa. There is a great danger from highwaymen. That means dacoits, right? Highwaymen. If it is the wish in your heart, please wait until there is not disturbance and everything is peaceful. The Lord said, how can a situation without obstacles ever come? I must go. Please tell the others my decision. Advaita understood the decision in Lord Chaitanya's heart. The Lord would go to Jagannath Puri. Nothing would stop him. Folding his hands, Advaita described the true situation. What obstacle can block your path? All obstacles are your servants. Which one of them has the power to stop you? Lord, if it is the wish in your heart, you will certainly go to Jagannath Puri and with great happiness. Hearing Advaita's words, Lord Chaitanya became happy. He happily replied with the word, Hari. Walking like a ferocious lion, Lord Chaitanya then began his journey to Jagannath Puri. The devotees followed behind. No one had the power to stop weeping. After a short distance, Lord Chaitanya sweetly told the devotees, please do not be unhappy at heart. I will never leave you. Return to your homes and chant Lord Krishna's names. After some days, I will come back. After speaking these words, Lord Chaitanya embraced the Vaishnavas one by one. Sprinkling the devotees with tears, Lord Chaitanya wept. After reassuring everyone in many ways, the Lord proceeded south. Weeping and weeping with love, the devotees again and again fell to the ground, and then again and again picked themselves up. Like the gopis when Lord Krishna went to Mathura, they were plunged in an ocean of grief. As the gopis somehow survived, so the devotees of Lord Chaitanya somehow survived in that time of separation. It was like the time when Krishna left for Mathura. Indeed, the Lord, the devotees, and the emotions were the same. Life and death depend on Lord Krishna's mercy. It matters not whether one drinks poison or nectar. Life and death depend on Lord Krishna's mercy, Krishna's will. Life and death depend on Lord Krishna's will. It matters not whether one drinks poison or nectar. No one has the power to change the fate of someone Lord Krishna protects, or if someone he kills. Lord Chaitanya joyfully went to Jagannath Puri. Nityananda, Gadadhar, Mukunda, Govinda, Jagadananda, and Brahmananda were his companions. So now Mahaprabhu is going to Jagannath Puri from Shantipur. Who accompanied Mahaprabhu? Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Pandit, Mukunda, Govinda, Jagadananda, and Brahmananda. Nityananda, Gadadhar, Mukunda, Govinda, Jagadananda, Brahmananda. On the road, the Lord tested them all. He asked, "Are there any supplies or money? Who brought? Please tell. Who brought money and supplies for this journey on the road? Did anyone? Please tell the truth." They all replied, "Lord, who has the power to bring anything without your permission?" Hearing this, the Lord was pleased. At the end, he explained the meaning of his words. The Lord said, "I am very pleased that no one brought anything. Destiny will provide the food written for that day. Even if one is in the forest, it is inevitable that he will meet his destined food. If the Supreme Lord does not write food for that day, then even a prince must fast. Without the Supreme Lord's permission, no one has the power to eat. Suddenly, for no reason, he will bitterly quarrel with someone. Angry, he will announce, 'I will not eat.' Speaking that vow, he will rest in hands. He will rest his hands on his head. Or he may have all kinds of foods, but his body may suddenly burn with fever. Tortured by the fever, what will he eat? In this way, the Supreme Lord's will is the cause of whether one eats or not. Lord Krishna places a great storehouse of food in the three worlds. If the Supreme Lord wills, one will always find food. In this way, the Supreme Lord personally taught everyone. They who have faith in his words will become happy. Why should one struggle 10 million times to attain something? One should not. Only if the Supreme Lord wills does anyone attain the result he desires. In this way, Lord Chaitanya again and again explained the nature of the Supreme Lord. As they arrived at Atisara Nagar, Lord Chaitanya gave these explanations. In the village of Atisara lived a very fortunate and saintly devotee named Sri Ananta. Lord Chaitanya stayed at his home. How can I describe his great good fortune? Very generous, Ananta Pandit became very joyful. He was not an external consciousness. The king of Vaikuntha had come as a guest in his home. Happily, he prepared the Lord's meal. The Lord and his associates accepted the meal. In this way, the Lord taught that a sannyasi's duty is to accept meals offered by others. In Ananta Pandit's home, in Ananta Pandit's home, Lord Chaitanya happily passed the whole night describing the glories of Lord Krishna. In Ananta Pandit's home, Lord Chaitanya happily passed the whole night describing the glories of Lord Krishna. Casting a merciful glance at Ananta Pandit and chanting Hari Hari, at dawn Lord Chaitanya departed. Seeing Lord Chaitanya's cooling moon-like face, at every moment the people called out Hari Hari. I'll read the last two lines again. In Ananta Pandit's home, Lord Chaitanya happily passed the whole night describing the glories of Lord Krishna, casting a merciful glance at Ananta Pandit and chanting Hari Hari. At dawn, Lord Chaitanya departed. Seeing Lord Chaitanya's cooling moon-like face, at every moment the people called out Hari Hari. Everyone saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead walking amongst them, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who only rarely places his feet in the hearts of the kings of the yogis. Who only rarely places his feet in the hearts of the kings of yogis. Walking on the Ganga's bank, the Lord very happily came to Chhatrabhoga. At Chhatrabhoga, the Ganga divides into 100 mouths. Delighting everyone, the Ganga flows in this way. At this place, Lord Shiva assumed a form of water. That is why everyone calls this place Ambulinga Ghat. Ambulinga. That means Lord Shiva in the form of water. Ambu means water, Linga means Lord Shiva. Ambulinga means Shiva in the form of water. Where is this? Chhatrabhoga, where Ganga divides into 100 mouths. Please listen with one heart and I will tell the story why Lord Shiva here assumed a form, Linga, of water, Ambu. Linga is a form. Ambu is water. So, Ambulinga, a form of water. Lord Shiva assumed the form of water. In ancient times, King Bhagiratha worshipped the Ganga and brought her to this place to deliver his ancestors. Overcome in separation from goddess Ganga and always thinking of her, Lord Shiva came to that place. Seeing goddess Ganga at Chhatrabhoga, Lord Shiva was overwhelmed with love. The moment he saw her, Lord Shiva fell into the Ganga. Assuming a form of water, Shiva mixed with the waters of the Ganga. Gazing at goddess Ganga, the mother of all the world, Lord Shiva worshipped her with great devotion. Lord Shiva knew the glories of worshipping goddess Ganga, and goddess Ganga knew the glories of worshipping Lord Shiva. Touching the Ganga's waters, Lord Shiva assumed a form of water. In this form, he humbly worshipped goddess Ganga. Lord Shiva assumed a form of water at this place. That is why everyone calls it Ambulinga Ghat. By the combined power of goddess Ganga and Lord Shiva, combined power of goddess Ganga and Lord Shiva, Chhatrabhoga Gram became famous as a very sacred place. Touched by Lord Chaitanya's feet in his pastimes, that place became even more glorious. It became very famous, very famous sacred place because of the power of the bhakti of Lord Shiva and Goddess Ganga. And now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? They say Sone pe Suhaga. So on top of that, now Mahaprabhu came personally, so that place became even more glorious. Chhatrabhoga Gram or Ambulinga Ghat. Touched by Lord Chaitanya's feet in his pastimes, that place became even more glorious. Lord Chaitanya went to Chhatrabhoga. At Ambulinga Ghat, he saw the Ganga divide into 100 mouths. Seeing this holy water, Lord Chaitanya was overcome with bliss. Roaring, Hari, he made a great tumult. When Lord Chaitanya fainted in ecstasy, Lord Nityananda caught him. Everyone called out, Jai and Hari, Hari. Overcome with bliss, Lord Chaitanya and his associates bathed at that ghat. As he bathed there, Lord Chaitanya enjoyed many pastimes. In the future, Vedavyas will write about them in the Puranas. After bathing, the Lord climbed onto the river bank. He soon made the dry clothing he put on. He soon made dry the clothing he put on. Sorry. He soon made the dry clothing he put on wet with tears of love. So after coming out, Mahaprabhu put on dry clothing, but very soon after putting the dry clothing, with the tears of love from his eyes, he made his clothes wet again. Not wet with Ganga's waters, but wet with his tears of love of Godhead. With a stream of 100 mouths, the river Ganga flowed over the earth. Then also with a stream of 100 mouths, tears flowed from Lord Ganga's eyes. So Gangaji was flowing with 100 mouths, and Mahaprabhu's tears were also flowing with 100 mouths. Seeing this wonder, all the devotees laughed. In this way, Lord Chaitanya wept. The governor in that village was Ramachandra Khan. Although he enjoyed many sense pleasures, he was still saintly and fortunate. If this were not so, how could he have seen Lord Chaitanya? By divine arrangement, he came to that place. Seeing the Lord, that governor felt great awe in his heart. In a moment, he quickly came down from his palanquin. Falling to the ground, he offered Dandavat obeisances. Meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya, weeping tears of ecstatic love, was not in external consciousness. Oh, oh, Jagannath! Lord Chaitanya thundered. Then he fell to the ground and wept. Seeing Lord Chaitanya's sorrow, Ramachandra Khan felt his heart break. In his heart, thinking, is there no way to end his sorrow? He also wept. In the three worlds, no one had ever wept like this. Anyone who would not break into pieces when he saw this weeping must have a heart of stone or of dry wood. After becoming a little pacified, he who is the crest jewel of Vaikuntha asked Ramachandra Khan, who are you? Offering Dandavat obeisances and then folding his hands, the governor respectfully said, I am the servant of your servant. Then the other people exclaimed, he is the governor of this southern province. Lord Chaitanya said, you are the governor? Very good. How may I quickly travel to Jagannath Puri? Then Lord Chaitanya shed a flood of tears, again and again calling out, O Jagannath, O moon of Nilachala. He fell to the ground. Then Ramchandra Khan said, O great saint, please listen. Whatever you order, that will be done without fail. Lord, this is a bad time. Between that country and this country, there is no path. The king has planted tridents in place after place. Every traveler is captured, declared a spy, and tortured. Okay. So it is not earlier when we read highwaymen, right? There is danger from highwaymen. It's not dacoits. We were not talking about dacoits. The king has stationed his soldiers on the highway in different places to capture any travelers coming from Bengal, the king of Orissa, because there's enmity between the two countries. So the king has planted tridents in place after place. Every traveler is captured, declared a spy, and tortured. The only way I can arrange is to send you in secret. O Lord, please give me your attention and listen. I command the army here. Even so, this is dangerous for me. Still, why should I not help? Help, Lord, whatever you ask, I will do without fail. If you accept me as your servant, then accompanied by your men today, please accept your meal at my place. What are noble birth, wealth, and even life? They do not mean anything to me. Tonight I will bring you along that path. Hearing these words, the king of Vaikuntha became happy. Smiling, he cast a merciful glance at the governor. Simply by that glance, the governor became free of all material bonds. Lord Chaitanya stayed for a while at that governor Brahmana's home. Supreme auspiciousness came to that Brahmana's home. The fruits of all his past pious deeds at once came before his eyes. With great devotion in his heart, that Brahmana very carefully cooked for the Lord. Now Lord Chaitanya ate in name only. He would not spare even a single moment from ecstatic meditation on a person who was actually himself. To please his devotees, Lord Chaitanya accepted meals. Spiritual ecstasy was the food he always ate. So Mahaprabhu would eat simply to please his associates. But what was his real food? His real food was his spiritual ecstasy. From the beginning of his journey to Lord Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya ate in name only. It was just external, that too to please his associates. The real thing that was sustaining him was his ecstatic love. Anxious to see Lord Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya forgot his own self. In this way he travelled on the road. Was it day or night? On what path did they travel? Where was water? Where was land? Where was a place to cross the river? Plunged in the nectar of ecstatic love, Lord Chaitanya did not know. Always staying by his side, his dear associates protected him. Vedavyas alone and no one else has the power to describe how Lord Chaitanya was wrapped in ecstatic love. Who has the power to understand Lord Krishna's nature, or when and how he enjoys pastimes? Why was Lord Chaitanya so anxious? Why did he weep? Only Lord Nityananda has the power to know the heart of this. Plunged in the nectar of devotion to a person who was actually his own self. In his pastimes, the king of Vaikuntha did not know who he was. Plunged in the nectar of devotion to a person who was actually his own self. In his pastimes, the king of Vaikuntha did not know who he was. Lord Chaitanya was Lord Jagannath himself. He himself was the person he longed to meet. Who has the power to understand the Supreme Lord if the Lord does not place his glance of mercy upon him? Accompanied by Nityananda and his other dear associates, Lord Chaitanya sat down to eat. After eating very little, the Lord roared and stood up. The Lord rinsed his mouth. He was wrapped in ecstatic love. How far is Lord Jagannath? He thundered. Then Mukunda began to sing. Then he who is the king of Vaikuntha danced. The pious people who lived at Chhatrabhoga gazed at the playful Lord of Vaikuntha as he danced. He manifested tears, trembling, roaring, perspiration, becoming stunned, and bodily hairs standing erect. How many ecstatic symptoms did the Lord manifest? Who knows the heart of the Lord's ecstasy? A wonderful flood of tears of love flowed from his eyes, a flood like the swollen Ganga in the month of Bhadra. This is Bhadra. Uh, a wonderful flood of tears of love flowed from his eyes, a flood like the swollen Ganga in the month of Bhadra. The Lord danced around and around. Tears gushed from his eyes, tears that bathed everyone there. I say that Lord Chaitanya became ecstatic love personified and descended to the earth. No one but Lord Chaitanya has the power to act in this way. In this way, the third 3-hour portion, third prahara of the night passed. Mahaprabhu dancing. Then Lord Chaitanya became peaceful. Every person thought in his heart, the night passed like a single moment. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, everyone was delivered. Then Ramchandra Khan said, Lord, the boat has come to the ghat. It is ready now. Saying, Hari, Lord Chaitanya at once stood up, walked and entered the boat. Casting a glance of mercy on them, he bid everyone farewell and then proceeded to his own city of Jagannath Puri. By the Lord's order, Mukunda sang Kirtan as the Lord travelled in the boat. The foolish boatman said, I am afraid. I think today we will not remain alive. On the river bank are tigers. In the water are crocodiles. There are many thieves who will take our wealth and kill us. O Master, please be quiet until we reach Orissa. When the boatman spoke these words, everyone stopped singing. Lord Chaitanya continued to float in many tears of ecstatic love. In a moment, Lord Chaitanya stood up and shouted, Why are you afraid? Why? The Sudarshan Chakra stands in front of this boat. It always protects the Vaishnavas from any danger. Don't worry. Sing the Sankirtan of Lord Krishna's names. Do you not see the Sudarshan Chakra? Hearing the Lord's words, all the devotees again sang Kirtan. Lord Chaitanya used this situation to teach everyone the Sudarshan Chakra always protects the devotees. We've been reading in Ambarish Maharaj's Upakhyanam how the Sudarshan Chakra is protecting the devotees. It's not that Ambarish Maharaj asked for help or anything, but as soon as this Durvasa Muni's created this demon, as soon as that demon headed towards Ambarish Maharaj, before the demon could even touch Ambarish Maharaj, Sudarshan Chakra immediately appeared and destroyed that demon and then went after Durvasa Muni. So the Sudarshan Chakra always protects the devotees, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Any sinner who would attack a Vaishnava, the Sudarshan Chakra throws into flames and kills. Yes. If anyone attacks a Vaishnava, Sudarshan Chakra kills that person. Lord Vishnu's Sudarshan Chakra always protects the devotees. Who has the power to attack the Lord's devotees? Lord Chaitanya spoke confidential teachings in this way. A person who has attained the Lord's mercy can understand these words, he said. Plunged in the nectar of Sankirtan in this way, Lord Chaitanya finally reached Orissa. The boat finally landed at a place called Sri Prayaga Ghat. There Lord Chaitanya stepped from the boat to the shore. In this way Lord Chaitanya entered the country of Orissa. Anyone who hears this story will float in the nectar of ecstatic love for the Lord. In this way Lord Chaitanya happily entered the country of Orissa. Accompanied by his associates, he bowed down to offer respects. In a place there called Ganga Ghat, Lord Chaitanya bathed. After bathing, Lord Chaitanya bowed down before a Shiva deity established there by Maharaj Yudhishthir. Now that he and his companions had entered Orissa, Lord Chaitanya was very happy. Leaving everyone at a temple, Lord Chaitanya went out to beg alms. Whenever the Lord went to a house, the people would gaze at his form and become enchanted. The Lord would spread out his cloth, and the people would at once place some rice upon it. Everyone happily offered to Lord Chaitanya whatever food was in their home. Goddess Lakshmi, who is known as she who fills the world with food, begs to stay at the Supreme Lord's feet. Now the Lord is begging at everyone's home for some bhoga, but he, Lakshmi Devi, who's the one that's providing food who's filling this whole world with food, she is begging to stay at his lotus feet. Assuming the form of a sannyasi, that Supreme Lord personally went from home to home. On the pretext of begging alms, he made fortunate all the souls in that place. After begging in this way, the Lord felt happy at heart. Returning to the devotees, he sat down among them. Seeing the food he had begged, everyone smiled and said, Master, you certainly have the power to feed us. Jagadananda happily cooked, and the Lord and his companions ate. So maybe we'll stop here today and continue tomorrow. Let me see how much more is there. Yeah, there's a lot. We won't be able to finish today. Wow. Okay, there's about 7 pages. So we will continue reading the nectar tomorrow. We'll stop here. Thank you all so